Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. Today, I want to talk about the Ringer article, something that I referred to back in my other previous videos where Rob Harvilla, the writer from the Ringer, called me up and asking me he wanted my perspective on the Release the Snyder Cut movement and the Release the Snyder Cut itself. So I got over on the phone. We talked for maybe 30 to 45 minutes, and then that was that. And lo and behold, he actually was able to get in touch with like Joseph Todd, Zod Ryder, Will Rowlands, and Shiraz Ferrucci, and probably a different amount of different reporters that within his own kind of camp, if you will. A reporter, an entertainment reporter for the New York Times, and so on and such, and to get their perspective on the movement as well. It's always good to get two sides, as a good writer will actually do some reporting on this. But this article now is not about the Snyder Cut. It's not really about the Snyder Cut. If you really read it, it's actually about the people that are in the movement, the people itself, the fans, the fandom itself, and I think this is a really good positive light, a spotlight on the fandom, on the Release the Snyder Cut movement. That's something that was totally demolished or tried to demolish in that whole Ben Fritz Wall Street Journal article last year, I really like this article. I think it's actually inspiring and actually inspires a lot of different other people with little blue check marks to verify, to actually come out and some even say release the Snyder Cut. I think that is a great part for us. I think this is a great push for our movement in the right direction, if you will. Now, Rob Harvilla tweeted this out. He wrote about the Release the Snyder Cut, the strangest and most inspiring superhero movie fan campaign ever born. And when you click on the article, right on the top of the headline, it says, "Kneel before Zack. Release the Snyder Cut is an uncommonly passionate and quixotic movement dedicated to restoring superhero auteur Zack Snyder's original vision for 2017's troubled Justice League. They may never get what they want. May they never stop trying." So when you look at this article, there's two different groups that are talked about in this article. One is us, the fandom, the Release the Snyder Cut people, and pulling quotes from Joseph Todd, Will Rowlands, Shiraz Ferrucci, and myself, and actual quotes, by the way. It's not twist or turned like in Ben Fritz's article. The writer even mentions that Will Rowlands had requested an actual recording, that he actually got that and he was okay. The writer also acknowledges the disparaging Ben Fritz Wall Street Journal article in that sense. So you can look at this and you can know right away, this is not a hit piece. This is not something that Warner Brothers had sanctioned at all to discourage the movement at all. This reporter actually went out of his way to really find out more about the movement. And the other group side, this is what I would call the outside bubble. Okay, these are like the entertainment reporters that are in the industry and have experience with how the studios work and stuff. So he's using these two to compare, kind of almost like compare, but almost like in conjunction with each other. Like, this is what we want, and this is what we realistically, what people in the history of the studios and how they think the studios work would function in response to our movement, right? And you got to look carefully, and you'll see that there was no quotes, nothing from Warner Brothers camp, nothing from Zack Snyder's camp. This is merely the speculation and opinions of entertainment reporters and a few people within the industry, rather than actual execs or things like that who can actually make have the Snyder Cut be released. But then again, I said, this is not about the Snyder Cut. This article is not about Zack Snyder either. There are some opinionated pieces in there about those topics, but mostly this is about the movement. It's about how kind of like putting a spotlight on us in a way that even though we should be respected, even though they don't understand us. And I think that's a great way for the general public, for the different audience, or whoever the 500,000 Twitter's followers of the Ringer, or whoever reads it, to actually look at us in a whole new light. In fact, there are some verifieds who actually thought this article is inspiring. One even tweeted hashtag release the Snyder Cut in that sense, and I think that's such a really positive thing, because we're in a bubble, okay? We're in our Snyder Cut movement. We're in a bubble. We're on an all-loving, Zack Snyder-loving group of people, and I'm not saying it's small. It's a large group of people, but there is a larger group out there who are looking at us, and a lot of times in a bad light. You've seen it. I mean, in Twitter or wherever, we're looking at like some kind of Snyder cultist. We're gonna sacrifice some land or some goats, but we're not like that, and we don't actually have a leader. Like I said, we're kind of like a collective in a way, and of like-minded individuals that want the same thing. And so with that in mind, Rob tries to really paint us in that picture, and actually shows the truths about our movement, showing what we did, showing the kind of campaign, the suicide awareness and things like that, and also bringing to light that the Justice League Snyder Cut was probably a much better movie than what we got in the theaters. And so it puts all that out in the light. But at the same time, people would be get triggered by the fact that there's entertainment reporters, who are talking about how it can never be released. It can never be done. It can't come out. It has never been done before. Even though in the article itself, he had stated that it has kind of been done before with the Richard Donner cut. It took 26 years, but it has been done before. And he even got my quote about Blade Runner and Kingdom of Heaven, Under Heaven. So I thought that was kind of cool in itself. But the writers, the different other entertainment writers that are quoted in this, also allude to being about money, allude to being about the studio's ego, and I thought that was a good thing to put in there. I was kind of surprised that they put in there, because it actually sheds a bad light upon Warner Brothers. It's almost making them the enemy, if you will, and making us kind of like the heroes. And that's why I want to go back to that uncommonly passionate and quixotic movement. The word quixotic, people are trying to really throw a negative connotation on that. So the definition for quixotic given by Merriam-Webster is hopeful or romantic in a way that is not practical, foolishly impractical, especially in the pursuit of ideals, especially marked by rash, lofty, romantic ideas, or extravagantly chivalrous action, capricious, unpredictable. Synonyms mean idealist, idealistic, quixotical, romantic, starry-eyed, utopian, visionary, right? So a lot of people are trying to really bring in the negative part where it says the impossible, doing things that are impossible will never happen. And I gotta say, I think looking at that word, looking at what that means, I think that really truly shows who we are. Aren't we going up a small group of people in light of millions, right? Thousands of us are going up against a mega corporation asking for something that they may or may not intend to ever try to release, but we're still going. It's almost over 2 years and we haven't stopped. We are idealists. We are warriors, right? We are on a quest that these entertainment reporters who have been in the industry has never ever seen before, and a goal that they can never see that it could ever come true. But it hasn't stopped us. And that is something that is inspiring. And I think if we bring that inspiration to the outer bubble, like we've done through a couple verifieds who truly thought this was inspiring, including this writer himself, Rob Harvilla, who has actually never really liked Zack Snyder's work, but really inspired by our movement and actually want us to win. And that's something that is really hopeful. And this is what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to show that empathy. We're trying to inspire people to come over to our side, regardless of what their biases are against the film, biases against Zack Snyder. This is about artistic, creative integrity. I know it's a heroic, a chivalrous, idealistic thinking, but it is something that we are truly fighting for, truly believe in. This is a lyricist for this musical that this word came from, Don Quixote, and I'm going to read this to you, and this is shared by Stephen Colbert. Thank you very much. The impossible dream, the quest. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to be willing to give when there is no more to give, to be willing to die so that honor and justice may live. And if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this. That one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star. And of course, the unreachable star and perceived unreachable star by these other entertainment reporters and people in the industry have never actually seen this happen in this short amount of time, is the Snyder Cut. And we are the people fighting that impossible dream, that unbeatable foe, which is Warner Brothers, egotistical thinking that they don't want us to know that they've actually butchered Justice League, even though we already know. This is us. This is our kind of our quest right now. And I think that quixotic word is actually a very positive outlook from someone from the outside to us. He sees us as being an inspiring thing. And my God, Zack Snyder has actually made movies about quixotic characters. We talk about Rorschach. He was going against the odds. His words literally is quixotic. Never compromise in the face of Armageddon. He did everything he could because of what he believed is justice and how he would have to prevail. The 300, Leonidas and the 300. Small army going up against a Persian army. They know they will die. They will fight until their death, but they're doing it because that's what they believe in. And ultimately, they all kind of won in a different aspect, right? They all kind of really did win. Man of Steel, Superman, he went against the odds. He went against Earth that didn't believe in him, Earth that feared him, and he saved the world. Zack Snyder has made movies about quixotic characters, and even non-Zack Snyder movies. I mean, we cheer for Rudy. He actually won against all odds. We cheered for William Wallace in Braveheart, where he defeated, he went up against a giant, English army. There are heroes out here, quixotic heroes, and that's something to be proud of, actually, because that truly makes us inspirational. And that's what we need to be right now, inspirational to the people out there who before has looked at us in a negative context, in a negative way. When they see that, they look beyond what we're asking for. They look at us as an inspiring movement who we're trying to get some type of ideal that that maybe they don't understand, but they can respect. And that's what this article is about. And this is what we are fighting for. The artistic creative integrity. This is our ideals. This is our dream. And they may say that it's an unbeatable foe and an impossible dream. But we're going to continue fighting because we believe we can. And I think this article says all that. So hopefully more people write about it. Hopefully more people talk about this. And hopefully we gain more people at Project Comic-Con, at San Diego Comic-Con. And I think this just helps us paint us in a more positive light. Warner Brothers, please release the Snyder Cut. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.